What is up, gang? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday night, a night that I normally don't stream, but I'm here, and I'm here with some friends, and we're going to be talking about Mr. Mircale by Tom King and Mitch Gerad, a book that has been out for a little while now, and one that I've been meaning to read for a while, and it's just been recent now that with my co-host we've decided to dive in after hearing so many just great things, and so we finally over the last couple of weeks kind of coordinated doing a bit of a buddy read, a little bit of a book club. So wanted to dive into this 12 issues, and then so we're here to talk about it tonight. So if you guys are interested in knowing more, or maybe you've read it already, you can tune in. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're here in the live chat, I see we got people hanging out right now. If you are watching the replay, just a heads up, this is going to be spoilers tonight. So if you were planning to read this and you never read it before and you don't want to be spoiled, just put it on pause here and then come back to this channel once you've done reading it. But I'm going to bring on my co-hosts and good friends here who have agreed to spend some time talking with me tonight on this book. And I'm talking about Cait from Caits.Comics and Dave from Four Corners Comics. What's up, gang?
What up?
Hey.
We're here. We've been texting about this, planning this, and I'm pumped to be diving into this book with you guys. And I appreciate both of you taking some time to hang out with me tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we started like texting about it like 3 months ago, and then finally we're like, "Hey, we should pull the trigger." You know,
it actually was probably probably like last summer, like we were like shortly after we hung out. Like you're just like, we should do this. And holidays gets a little crazy and all that, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, look, man. I mean, and we'll see. Like, if we later, we'll see how this goes. I don't know if you guys feel, I kind of have a hint of how you guys feel about the book, but if you feel anywhere near how I felt about the book, maybe we do another one down the road here, maybe another Tom King book or something else even. And see where it takes us. But I've always appreciated you guys. I had the pleasure of meeting both of you at different trade shows or Comic Cons in various times, and or Dave, you came here hanging out at Zap the one time. So hopefully do more of that. I do want to take a moment and say hello to the chat, and I want to remind everybody that's in the chat right now, if you guys don't follow Cait and Dave, you certainly should. I put their links in the description below. Doing a ton of work over on Instagram, and by work I mean just great fun stuff. Cait, love all the live streams with you and the crew that you guys do. You got the book club that you've been doing. Dave, you've been killing it. Everything, bringing the whole family on your posts and everything else, and the books, man, it's just insane. So if you guys are not following these two, you should at least be following them and reaching out to them if you want to talk comics with these two. But let me say a quick hello to the chat, because I see a few people hanging. My guy John from John's Comics with Friends hanging out fairly early here, hanging out at 4:16 earlier today. Says, let's go.
Seat.
yeah, he's got his popcorn. Says, let's go, King and Gerad's for the win. Yeah, I know John is a big fan of this series and is a big fan of Tom King. He actually just released a YouTube video earlier today, and it was highlighting Tom King and how some people view his work, or he uses the word hates. Some people hate his work, and he kind of debunks some of that stuff. And I find it very fascinating. Really good video. So if you guys have not checked that out, definitely go check out John's channel for that video. He says, I don't think these comments will be here in 5 hours. Oh yeah, maybe. No, they're still here. I'm going to try to be on the show for a while simultaneously watching this one. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. He's going to be streaming too. Very cool. Let's see. We got my man Gore Vidal in the chat. What's going on? Gore says it was better than Saga. No questions. He's always throwing jabs at me and my love for Saga. Don't hate Saga, Gore. I wouldn't compare the two. They're both fantastic. Come on, man. Hope you're doing well. We got Unruly Simeon in the house. What's going on? My ghoulish brother here. Good to see you. Says better than Saga, but not as good as All the Pretty Horses. I'm not familiar with that one, Gore. I'm not familiar with that one. We got Robbie Joseph in the chat. Says hi everybody. What's going on, Robbie? Hello. Cait pulling double duty in the chat. Love it. Love to see it. We got my man Aaron, Super Demon Wizards, hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you. Another brother of the ghouls here. Some people saying hi to each other, and we got Tree City Comics in the house. What's going on, Dan? Good to see you. He was excited for us, the three of us teaming up here, and I know he's excited for this book too. So appreciate you, brother. We got Phil in the chat. What's going on, Phil? Hello. And we got Metal Elf Collectibles also in the chat. Another ghoulish brother. He was just live a little while ago with another Justin. So good to see you, my man. Thanks for swinging by as well. Like I said, we have we're going to be talking spoilers. So if anybody has yet to read this and plans to, there's your warning. That's your final warning. We're going to be, talking about all the people who die in this and yada yada yada. So, so as I've said to both of you, this is super casual, so we could take this any direction we want. And honestly, you guys can kind of start it off. I guess as a high level, like, what'd you think, or like, without getting too into the weeds yet. Cait, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, for me, definitely heard a lot about this story before picking it up, and it was you guys posting about it. I was talking to Dave, and I said, "Oh my God, you guys are reading that?" But I'm just gonna go ahead and order it right now so I can also read it.
Yes.
And I just have to say, like, it really did blow me away as someone who no real like Kirby DC knowledge beforehand. Never read anything about Mr. Mircale, and oh my gosh, emotionally devastating.
Yes.
but in a best way.
Yes, agreed. And I'm with you too. Like, I never, Mr. Mircale to me was always just a character I kind of knew of. I knew some of the Kirby stuff. Just people like talking about it and seeing it at comic shows and stuff like that, but never really, knew anything about the character at all. So this was something, and I know we were talking about backstage a little bit, Cait, but this was something that for me, even though it was Tom King, I just kind of put it on hold because of who the characters were. I just didn't think I'd care because I didn't know Mr. Mircale. I thought I'd have to know all this other stuff prior to even getting into this. And that's what I think I love most about a lot of Tom King stuff is that he writes in a way that you don't need to know a lot of that stuff going into it, or he educates you quickly, and which is kind of done here, to kind of just give you the backstory, and then here you are, and don't worry about anything else, and you're just kind of along for the ride at that point. So yeah, I'm with you there. Dave, I feel like you've had some more experience with, you collect, you're all over the place, but I feel like you've had experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with the characters at least, or I guess, what did you think of this going into this? Were you very familiar with them yourself?
Yeah, like for me, it's like collecting Kirby stuff is just gold. It's funny. I pulled out like some of my Kirby books for Mr. Mircale. I was like, maybe I'll show one. And for me, it's like growing up and reading about the Fourth World, like Kirby coming to DC was just like earth shattering. And so I'm a DC guy, so I love Mr. Mircale and Big Barda. And like Big Barda was like such a cool character, like for Superman too, because of her strength and being a warrior. So like I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Jumping into this thing though, it's like the Kirby dynamic and then the King dynamic, like just King flipped it. Right. And I think there's so much in here to unpack. And I was trying to figure out, like, how do I distill this down simply? And I had to take it from my perspective, right? Like, yeah, I'm married. I've been married a long time. I have 4 kids. I'm a dad. And so I'm looking at it through that lens. But I think what everybody can take away from this is what Scott Free kind of goes through in this story. All of us have been in some of those areas. Oh, yeah. And it's just like brutal, right? It's like first page, man. It's just like, whoa, like what's going on? Like it hits you right away. And you're like, this is going to be really deep. And so for my experience for it, I was like, man, this is relatable. It's scary. It's like you can understand it. There's just so much to unpack. So it was fantastic for me. I loved it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And before we go further too, I wanted to ask, because I was just telling Cait, I just finished reading my second time through today, actually, and I'd kind of broken it up over the last couple of days for a second time. But have you guys? I know Dave, you had said you were taking kind of down some notes and stuff like that. Cait, you just bought the book like a week ago or so, or just arrived like a week ago or so.
Oh yeah, right? I've been reading like 3 issues a night for a couple nights.
That's great.
And truly excited to go back and reread. I feel like it's just one of those books that you have to get to the end to realize like the pieces all the way along, and I feel like I'll get a lot more from like these characters' journey. And like what I guess like for me, I just kept writing down the word escape over and over and over again, and I feel like I can go back and really highlight those areas a lot more in another read.
Yeah, no, well said, well said. And Dave, how many times did you get a couple reads in on your end?
Yeah, I got 2 reads in, and then I would go back because, like I said, there's just so much to unpack. I was like trying to pick like different areas just to kind of focus on. Because I started writing down notes. I'm like, dude, this is like 2 pages of note. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Right.
There's so much. But
Right.
I mean, just the visually too, right? I mean, just the art blended with the story, it like matches so perfectly. So
Yeah.
to your point earlier, it's like some people not a fan of the style, and understandably in some ways, but man, it like checked all the boxes for me.
Yeah, yeah, well said. We got Matt Rossi in the house giving you a shout out there, Dave.
So
The
Matt,
buff dude.
Mr. Mischief.
So yeah, I mean, let's dive in, right? Like you said, you know, we start the book off and it's just like, well, actually, even before, really, when you start the book off, first you get the walkthrough of kind of the big picture stuff, just like the was it New Genesis or New New Genesis, and then like the split and the backstory of that and kind of who runs things. You have Darkseid and the High Father. Like I didn't even know about the High Father. I've always been somewhat familiar with Darkseid just because it's you know the Thanos of DC as some might compare it to, or I don't know who came first technically, but you know, High Father, I had no idea, didn't know that was even the backstory of this whole like, you know, 2 world splitting and all that stuff. So I think it was a pretty solid way to kind of like just get that all in what, like 3 pages or something like that.
And it was very cute versus like the rest of the book.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Almost like, misleading in a way.
Yeah. Let me take you through. And then you were like punched in the face right after.
Yeah, with bloody wrists right after that. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the art, I mean, it's interesting that the art, you know, had changed like that and kind of gave you that like cartoonish, you know, like on a TV, like, I mean, every box was like a TV, you know, screen, or at least from back in the day, not shaped nowadays, but yeah, just to kind of give you this walkthrough and even the introduction of some of the different characters and the locations, like the X pit, you know, which is where they had kind of where he first grew up. I had no idea that the suns were switched in the beginning. Like all that stuff was like just a whole new world type stuff for me. So again, like, you know, I think it did a really good job of just kind of like, you know, catching you up in a way that you didn't have to like read a lot of other books to kind of get there. But then as you said, you get this him in the bathroom with bloody wrists and the tone, the vibe, just like it's super serious, super quick. Is the best way to put it.
I like that flip too. It was kind of giving that like Kirby kind of feel up front, right? It's just kind of like the way that it was portrayed and drawn, right? It's just like kind of this like feel good, like Scott overcame everything. Yes, like he can escape anything. And then that panel comes up, and then you know you're in for like a different ride. And I like what you said too about like High Father and Darkseid, because again, there's like so many themes, but like that biblical like theme that came out too, right? It's like High Father sacrificing his son, like delivering his son to the devil, to Darkseid, right? And you're just like, man, like as a dad, I'm like, do you want to do that? That's all. I can't even imagine.
Right.
That feeling. And I think it was cool that they were able to pack so much in like you said, like 3 pages to kind of give you the overview and kind of set the tone. So, you know, you can catch anybody up if you've never read Kirby's stuff or Mr. Mircale in previous runs too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Dan said, King and Gerad's team won 3 Eisners for this title. Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome. See how for sure.
Yeah. Cait, what did you think of kind of, I guess, even just like this first issue, setting the pace and, you know, again, kind of changing it up from this happy-go-lucky beginning to this darker side of things. And what do you think of like the artwork, especially like the squares that had come in and kept saying Darkseid is and things like that, and even just the panel layouts in general?
For me, it definitely felt very Tom King. I think he's a writer who's not afraid to use words, and you know, give you a lot of dialogue and a lot of pieces. But for me, I really enjoy that about him, and the panel style. I just kept writing down like so repetitive and rigid. And I think that really linked to, the emotions that Scott felt throughout the whole story, where he's going to war. And, war in this is not like epic and glorious, and these fight scenes where you're going to come out feeling like a hero. Like, he often comes out of each scene really worse than where he started. Even at times when he maybe is kind of winning. And these panels just kind of, I think, like give you that psychological feel that he has, that he's kind of trapped and everything's like always constant and feeling the same. And never lets up in the book. And I feel like that's really, for me, what I thought they were trying to do with like 9 panels throughout. But yeah, I think just the idea of that trauma lingering in all of his moments was like through those like 9 panels constantly.
Yeah, and those 9, I don't know if this might have been the book to kind of set that vibe or that layout up. I mean, I know that's been done in the past, but for as amount of times that they used it in this, I know that Tom's used it in several other books since then. And so I feel like it's definitely something he's kind of leaned into compared to like anyone else I've really read using that 9 panel layout or whatever. But you're right, it definitely keeps you. I mean, there's some panels where you literally get the same, if not close to the same image every time. But there's different, talking going on at the same time. So I feel like it like just sets, like keeps you in focus of like what's going in that moment and not too distracting of like, different, too many angles or too many scenes jumping into one. Like, I think it does a good job in that regard. And again, just very different than I guess like what I'm used to for modern comics.
Keeps it really human, like focused on the people versus like even the events going on while we're at war.
Right.
That's not really what's going on.
Yeah. And what'd you guys think of like I guess like the casualness of some of this stuff? Like there was, so many times where, Cait, as you said, like there's war, there's serious levels of battling and killing and all this other stuff. And at the same time, there's so many moments of, regular life situations, his phone calls and conversations with his wife. And, and this, I think, Dave, going to your point of like how relevant it is or, can tie into our day-to-day life. Not that we're going to war per se every day, but you can look at work. I mean, he looked at his work, right? There's scenes in here where he's like, at the park and he's watching his kid and another like mom's like, oh, where's Barda or whatever. She's like, oh, well, we both work at the same place. So she, if she's working there, I'm watching the kid and we kind of trade. Like, it's so it's just so like real life, in that regard, even though there's like, she's battling and like, killing people and all this other crazy stuff at the same time.
Yeah, that's like spot on. I was thinking one of the notes like I wrote down was like apocalypse versus LA for your very point. It's like that constant shift.
Yes.
Right. It's like, to Cait's point, it's like war is so awful. It's like brutal. And it's like the side story for sure. It's not like the main focus, right? Like the glory of it and all these other things. And that's how I looked at it as well, right? It's like this constant chaos, like the dark side is, right? At first, I was like, is this like the slogan, right? Because it's like everywhere, right? And I'm like, okay, is this the slogan that's going to be throughout the book? But actually what it is, it's like this inevitability that like this pain, this if you want to call it depression or anxiety and this constant struggle with life, that slogan or not slogan, like came into play to just to remind you constantly, no matter what you're doing, if you're having a baby or if you're doing the laundry, whatever it may be, it's like you can creep back in there so easily. It's like this trigger point at any time that can hit you.
Yep.
And so that's what I was like, oh, okay. Like this is starting to come together. This is a little bit bigger because when you dig into like, a good story, especially like a hero book, it's like you want to see some action and all these things. And I was like, I don't want to see any of this. Like, let's go back to Scott Free, like sitting in his LA apartment, and like in his own head,
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. I think I even called him somewhere in my notes like a pencil pusher, despite the fact that he's like a leader of, a war between worlds. But he doesn't see it as that. And he just sees it as, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing before, the next appointment where we swap and and get on to the next moment of life. So I like what you said about like it just like the apocalypse just keeps kind of hitting him. Like he's this great escape artist, but he's just trapped in death. Is it destiny? I guess. Like I don't. It's really open ended into that, but
yeah, and it's like the boom tubes too, right? It's like instantaneous. It's like they can open up a boom tube and go like right back to apocalypse, right? It's just like that, and it's so true. It's like you can be doing your everyday thing, and then all of a sudden you're just like, snap, you're right back into like the thick of it, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I had to get my head or just wrap my head around the idea of these characters being gods. I mean, you know, labeled as gods, the level of power they have, the abilities, the technology, all that stuff. That's, you know, parts obviously I was very new to or not having the understanding of until he kind of lays that out. But I think he did a great job with like modernizing it. I know there's that moment where he's talking to Booster Gold and another guy at the bar, and he's like waiting for the boom tube to like get him or whatever, but he's like, isn't that thing like faster than normal? He's like, yeah, but like during war times it's like slow, so like
it's like
and then
Uber,
yeah, because then at one point he's like talking, he's like, oh wait, it says 4 minutes now, I gotta get going or whatever. It's like an Uber, like getting ready to go or whatever. I just love like the modernization that you know Tom King's did like with all this stuff in relationship to these like fantasy level aspects. I see Dan said King is the master of taking lesser known characters and making an epic story. Miracle Man, Human Target, Black Canary, all amazing. Yeah, I read Human Target of those. I haven't read the rest of them, but I loved Human Target, and that's the other ones I definitely feel like I should check out now at some point. King's recent 6-issue Trinity run is simply beautiful. I haven't read that either.
Really good.
Yeah. Tom King, to me, like I knew him from the Batman stuff. And then getting into, I mean, I know he's writing some amazing Wonder Woman stuff right now, which I just started to like catch up on now. I'm like maybe 8 issues in, and it's fantastic. The Human Target stuff, I'm blanking on. I feel like there's like 5 or 6 other amazing things that he's done that I'm blanking
Supergirl.
on that, oh yeah, Supergirl. Yeah, Woman of Tomorrow. So good. So yeah, like that's, you know, I feel like he's definitely a writer that I typically am like, okay, like anything he's writing, I'm in. But now even more so, once I read Human Target, because I didn't know anything about Human Target either, I was like, okay, anything that he does, doesn't matter what character it is, I'm just going to go into it. And that's what we were saying before, like Mr. Miracle. I'm like, yeah, it's time to do this. So, what else? What direction you guys want to go in?
You know, something Dan brought up, what I thought was kind of cool. It made me think of something I wrote down. Was I love how throughout the book Scott's wearing all the different superhero T-shirts.
Oh,
you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it was so cool. I'm like, you know, he's got a Batman shirt on, and there's a suit shirt, and then I think he had a Nightwing shirt on at one point. So he's like kind of going through it, and I was like, what does that mean? They got the Flash right there. That's an epic scene too. That's like so much in there. I read that part like 3 times.
A couple times.
What are you gonna say? But I was trying to like wrap my head around it, and I was like writing down these notes, and he's like wearing these. He's like, it's almost like he's kind of surrounded by these other heroes who he looks at that are like stable, right? It's like they almost have like some type of stability, right? And he's like throwing on these shirts. Like Superman has like a mission and an ethos. He knows exactly what to do, truth and justice. And then Scott, on the other hand, is like, what am I supposed to be doing? You know, like,
am I worthy?
Yeah. And I thought that was kind of cool that they did that. And then like, also like, I didn't like distill down like every like superhero, but the first one I thought of course was like Superman, like probably the most like stable in some ways. But I thought that was kind of cool of like wearing the idea of like heroism like every day. And then he's just like, this is not me, you know, he's like, he looks up to them, but he just can't get there, you know?
Yeah. Agreed here, Phil. He has been slaying it for DC, especially. Yeah, there you go. Preach. I forgot the T-shirt things would definitely caught my attention from some of the earlier or just throughout, really.
And that his kid, you know, obviously he's a baby, but worships Batman, and he's just like, all right, I guess the birthday cake is gonna be Batman.
Yeah.
like Batman kills kids, but
Yeah, it's like they were worried about him like choking on the Batman doll
Yeah.
or something, like in their crib,
Yeah.
And Funky Flashman's just like, yeah, no, he's good. It's Batman, Yeah.
That was a weird character too, Funky Flashman. I don't know anything about him. I assume he's a character has been used in the past. But he was like kind of this, sleazy salesy guy kind of vibe is what I was getting at first, and then part 2 of the book is him, basically being the caretaker or kind of like the uncle of the of the group to help the child or watch the baby.
Put down like, is he real? Because like for parts of this book, I'm like not entirely sure like what is reality and who he's really talking to. You kind of get that like glitch effect at times, which normally makes me go, okay, this must not be, what's really happening. But Funky, I'm like, he just kind of is like, like just so unlike everyone else in the book that like, is he real?
Right.
Yeah. He's cool because it's I think it's like it might be this book actually where they like introduced Funky. Is this the right one? No, this is a different one. This is like my favorite like Mr. Miracle cover ever though.
Oh, what issue number is that?
This one is number 6. So this is the Kirby run. And I love this one. I love the art on it. But I know when awesome. Kirby created Funky, he was making him in character of Stan Lee, because it's like Kirby was so jaded at Marvel. So when he jumped over to DC, he kind of like laid these like little traps, little like stingers, and Funky was kind of modeled after Stan Lee, just like this big showman, put his name on like all the books. And Kirby was like, "Screw you, dude! Like I did this,
right?"
So it was kind of like
Excelsior throughout
it.
Right? In this one,
So that I was wondering why,
I was too. I was like, okay, I guess. But
it
makes a lot more sense of like a little twist in there.
That little nug of it too. And I was trying to like think of like what, because of course like each character is like representing something, and I was thinking about that too. Like I wrote down like he's got this like loud ego. It's like this constant hustle that he's always doing, like that sleazy Carmen kind of thing, And it's like he's kind of like the avoidant character. Like there's all these like really deep things happening. He's like, I don't care about any of that, like it's about me, it's about you, let's make some money. It's like it's just kind of, you can see how you can kind of fall into that trap of Funky too, like in the day-to-day life. It's like if you hop on like a call at work, or you're talking to a friend, they're like, hey, how are you doing? You're like, I'm good, but inside you're just like, I'm dying today. And it's like almost he's kind of just putting on this like show just to kind of move things out. So he almost kind of like represents like everybody. If you're like down in the outs and you're just kind of putting on that front, he's kind of represents that a little bit too.
Yeah, love that. Couple things in the chat here. I saw Dan said King also seems to be paired well with insane artists. Gerad
100%.
For this Smallwood Smallwood I fell in love with. Evely Supergirl. Yes, great points. Sam Pierre for Wonder Woman. Holy smokes, yeah. Jeez, that is stacked. Robbie asks, do you think Mr. Miracle can be more viable today than in the Bronze Age? I mean, the way he's written in here, I think he's very very relatable. And I mean, his characters, I have nothing to compare to. I've never read anything from anything previous really with Mr. Miracle, but there seems to be just so many relatable, realistic layers to this character that I'd be really interested to see where it goes from here. I know that they're not continuing this, per se, and I don't know who's going to write the next one, or if there is something that had already come out since then. But yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see kind of what, how they would continue this character. Would they keep it how Tom King kind of, I don't want to say recreated, but like, brought him into this, into this, or would they take it somewhere, completely different? Tree says, memory eternal to Jen. Memory eternal. To Comes Will Break Your Heart. Not sure if you saw, if you three saw a reference in this title. I don't for which, or I guess which part, Dan? Are you referencing? It says John said a friend of mine believes that Scott dies at the beginning of the story. He's trying to escape death in this book and finally fails. Yeah, so I did read a few different angles of how this book is interpreted, because the ending is like kind of one of those up in the air scenarios, and really that then brings like to the entire thing, like how could you, how do you take this whole thing? Is he dead? Did he die and now it's just like a different life, or is this him finding throughout this whole book, like does he end up kind of finding peace in the real world that he's in? He was technically offered this other at the end. I forget the guy's name that shows up at the end, but basically he's offered to like escape, escape or live this other life in this other world, and he turns it down because he's happy with what he has here now, even though he wasn't at first. He's trying to kill himself in the beginning, but now by the end of this thing, he wants to be here. He loves his life essentially. And so he turns down that other idea of a world of like you see all the superheroes and everything else. How do you guys take that? I mean, I know it's a pretty wide open question, but either one of you want to chime in on that?
I feel like I made a decision as a reader within the book, because at first I thought he truly died and we were seeing sort of flashbacks or moments or like what his life could have been or something along those lines. And then as we continued through, and he just kept pushing, even when he himself couldn't like see a way to escape and couldn't see the good. And even in these moments where he does have love with Barda and he does have his family growing, he doesn't always see it in like a positive light, but I think grows towards that. And so I think at some point within it was like, he didn't die. I want him to be able to work through this and get to like what he wants. So I feel like for me, I was like, this is what I'm going to choose to believe and interpret that way. Even though I definitely kind of lean towards either he was dead or did die toward the end, but I would rather think that he did get to escape the pit, where he always saw himself and have more of that positive ending.
Yeah, I like that too. I like how to John's point that he put in the chat there. What was the DiCaprio movie? It was Inception.
Inception, yeah.
Like at the end when he does the spinner, right? And it's like you're watching it and you're like, is this dude awake or like? And it kind of just moves a little bit, and they leave the audience to decide. And I love that King did that too, because depending on your perspective of like whatever season of life that you're in, you're going to make a decision on that. Right. And so I thought that was kind of cool, but I tend to err more towards the optimistic side too, that yes, like he can overcome this and that he's going to move forward in his world to make a difference. But I could be totally wrong. Right. And I think that's really cool about how King ended that. And I remember kind of listening to an interview with him, and they were trying to ask King like, hey, like, can you give us examples of like where you kind of put yourself into this book? Because you talked about when you're going through this tough time, you ended up writing this book about some of the experience that you had. And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell you that. Like, then the story's mine. I want it to be the story is for the audience, and they get to make the decision. And so I thought that was like really cool of him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just that he's even thinking ahead like that to not skew the viewpoint from the reader,
and not take ownership like that, like we as readers get to have a piece of that ourselves.
100%. Dan, so Dan said when they're in front of the Chinese theater looking at the hand impressions, I did not notice this. The quote comes will break your heart. I mean, I know the scene. I really can't remember what page, or I have to go back through later and find that, but if he has that in the book, that I forget what part of the scene was, but that's interesting. So the other, what else was I going to say about that? Nope, lost my train of thought.
There's so many like little pieces like that throughout I didn't catch that one. The one I did catch, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm trying to scan to see it, but like a lot in his apartment building or condo, you could kind of see like issue 1 when like Kirby made Mr. Miracle. It's like hanging on the wall, right?
Yes.
And then so it's like pristine, it's hanging up, it's like in the living room where people spend most of their time. And then as the story progresses, there's like a scene where somebody gets killed or something happens, and it's like shattered. I think Barda maybe like breaks it or something.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
like,
yeah.
was that it? Yeah. And it's like bloody and broken. And they just put these little pieces in there behind, that you have to kind of catch on to. But I missed that one that Dan talked about. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I see it here. He says 111. So I didn't. I missed this from before, but there it is. Here,
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, comics will break your heart.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jen. Our friend Jen from the community here. She was awesome. So I wanted to ask. So like the beginning of this story. So I viewed this book as like two halves basically. And the first section was basically this whole story of, the High Father dies. Orion becomes the High Father, and now he has to basically work for him in a sense, and then he gets dragged into all this other stuff with like being accused of being on the bad side, or and all this other stuff, and then them coming. So that's like the whole first side. There's a part in here that I want to highlight, and it really is what that first meeting when he goes back to see Orion. I really should have tabbed like this whole book, because there's like so many parts that I wanted to just like show. But there's a part where he Orion basically says like, hey, like, since I'm the new guy, I'm like the High Father now. It's custom to, we're bringing back all the old customs. And so it's custom for you to kneel, you guys should really kneel. And he like does not want to kneel to like any of this stuff. Like, he's just like, all the different references like to Orion and like how they call them brothers. He's like, he's not my brother. And like all like all those aspects of it. I love that. It just like at one point Barda
the
kneels,
veggie tray, man.
and she pulls it down. Oh yeah, the veggie tray. Yes. Yeah, that was like great. I have to find this one panel though where she like literally pulls him down to kneel, and just his face, you could tell he like does it. It's just such a brilliant like, moment,
Yeah, he's just so against the grain. You know what I mean? He's good. He has this like awesome COVID beard, throughout the whole thing.
yeah.
Kind of like wiry, and you can tell it's just like tradition for him. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's just like so carefree in like so many different ways.
Here's that part here. He's like staring him down at first after he says like, it's custom for you to kneel. So Barda kneels first. And then like afterwards she pulls him down. Just the way he leans on that last panel. Like, it's just so funny. You can just tell he's really fighting. Like, he doesn't want to do this.
Yeah, and Orion like smirks on the next page, right? Or something like, like
yeah.
Sucker.
Yeah. And then like, as he says, you can like get up. He's like, okay. Like, I'm not taking you. I refuse to take you serious in any way. Hello, Tyler. What's going on? Yeah, we are doing spoilers. So if you haven't read it, don't go any further, but watch the replay later if you don't want anything being spoiled. But yeah, so that was great. And yeah, the food, him getting the carrots and all that stuff, that was just
like, this is a momentous moment. Must have a veggie tray.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think for me, even when he was calling him Orion versus High Father, like, Scott feels like this sense of, I don't want to say destiny, but like that life has kind of been planned out for him. His brother will kill his father. He will have to go to war and lead these people that he doesn't know. He wasn't even like from New Genesis. Like, he didn't grow up there, but he just has to take that on. So I feel like in those moments, that's him being like, I get a choice. I can't always, make a choice, but in these little moments, I get to kind of fight against that pressure and that responsibility. And that's my tiny escape, is that I get to bother my brother, calling him, by not his official title, and him knowing it too.
Yeah. Trying to like humble him in a sense, or that's true. Yeah, and the fact that during that scene too with the veggie plate, it's so serious because he's on trial. I mean, he's on that issue. He was actually on trial, and actually, even the what was it? I guess technically the issue prior to that, when he says, or when he maybe was it that one? Basically, when the other guy shows up first, and I can't think of names now.
The bug.
No.
Lights.
Light Ray.
Yeah. Yes, Light Ray, is that his name? Yeah. Because like, so Light Ray shows up first, and he's like, you've been, whatever, you've been charged with whatever, and you need, you either can be execution or trial. Like, what do you want? And he's like in his kitchen, like casually, like making coffee, and he's like, trial. And Barda's like, you got to get out of here, like leave him alone. And he's like, I'll do trial, like it's cool, like like like
Yep.
just like everything's like, yeah, this is part of what we do, like this is the law, and all good. I'm just gonna make my coffee if you don't mind, as he does this. I just that
Yep.
going back to the casualness, like that to me was just
he just does not take it seriously.
no,
And-
no, and even Orion, after he sentences him and says like, okay, like 3 days, you're getting executed or whatever. He like eats a carrot, at the end of it.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the one I was holding up to as soon as you said it, Cait. It's like
Yep.
the veggie tray.
yes,
Like, yeah, Scott gets pissed, like beats the crap out of him, and then he still grabs a carrot. It's just like,
This is just
like,
another
what?
day to these guys. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we killed
Hardened
someone.
warriors.
We had a trial. Someone's gonna be executed. What's for lunch?
By the way, after that, that very next page is really heavy, I thought, where Scott is breaking down basically after he basically beat up Orion or whatever, and he really got to him in admitting his hate for everything, including life. Like he really just, again, it was almost like a therapy kind of moment, kind of breakdown that he had, and he's had that several times throughout this series. There was another scene later that I wanted to highlight towards the I guess this was like the second to last or third to last issue, where he goes and takes a shower and Barda's kind of talking to him, and she just, the whole page is him in the shower, and the talking is just her, that Barda's in the other room kind of talking to him at a distance, and he just breaks down and curls up into a little ball. Again, going back to what you were pointing out, Dave, with like the constant feel of anxiety, the constant battle with the stress that he's going through, or the depression. Dark Side is that kind of level, and to see it there in that moment, like the way it was so laid out, and I almost was like not expecting it, because this was like later in the series, so I almost was like, I thought he was a bit more over that, but it's a perfect example of like no, like this can just hit you at any time, and for some, this is how it's like handled, or this is how it feels, or this is how someone needs to curl up, or how they react. So, and I know everybody's different. It's just like, it was such a powerful moment amongst several times that he's kind of broke down.
Yeah, well said too. I think that's like the only thing I didn't like about this book, and you guys can understand this because you both love Lois Lane, like I do.
Yeah,
right. And Lois tends to be like the anchor for Superman, and she's like tough, like Barda. I wish like the book was called Mr. Mircale and Big Barda, because she plays such an important role in the book,
True.
like grounding Scott to reality. And even in that scene that you talked about, like Big Barda has the name because she's big. She's like this big warrior, and she can just like bear hug him and just like fully encompass him. Right. And it's just, she's like so battle hardened, grew up in X-Pit, apocalypse warrior, but she does like represent love like so much throughout the book. And she's like the last person that you would think would represent like love.
She doesn't even think she does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think between the two of them, kind of knowing they had very similar upbringings while experiencing, that differently, where Scott was always trying to escape and thought Granny Goodness may have loved him or was trying to make him better, and like that's how he chose to view it. Or Barda was like, no, she's horrible. Like she was horrible. There was no way we were gonna get out. And then seeing how they both deal with that trauma differently, where he does try escapism, whether that is just mindlessly watching TV or wearing his own mask so he just doesn't feel like himself, where I think she really lets that reflect on her, and like she doesn't see herself as love or as beautiful. And I think what was that mirror that we
that was the gift. Granny? Yeah, so that was Granny's gift, but it was gifted by the guy, what's this guy? Calabac. During the negotiation issues. That was the chapter.
That's
9,
what it was. Okay.
Issue 9, yeah.
And like how they both saw themselves
was
insane and like horrible and gross. And we're only seeing what the artists and the writer want us to see, but that's like the moment where we get to see how they actually see life and themselves.
Yeah, that was heavy. That was very heavy. John says also Mitch Gerad draws Barda perfectly. Hashtag Barda is life. Yep, agreed.
Yeah, you like fall in love with her. You're just like, gosh, you're such a badass, dude. Scott like internalizes like everything, and she's like, stand up, punches him in the face, get up, stand up. Like you need to like work through this, and like it's funny because it was funny. Me and Sarah had like a date day today, which like never happens because we have 4 kids and it's nuts.
Yeah.
And so I was telling her about the book. I'm like, you got to read it. Like, let me just break it all down. And she like reminds me so much of Big Barda because I'm like the guy that will internalize stuff. And she's like, stand up, dude. Get up. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's think about the future. Right. So that's why I love her so much, like Barda in this story because of that. And she reminds me so much of Sarah. I was like, this is great.
I love that. Great teamwork too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that you were telling Sarah because I was just telling Lindsay about it, and I'm like, look, I know you don't read a lot of comics. She will usually read a comic if I really recommend it. And I said, this is one of those books. I think you should read it. I think you should at least give it
it's not superhero. You know what I mean? Like, or like what you would traditionally kind of get in a comic.
And that's what I said. Yeah. Totally. Like, and it's especially like the line of work she's in with mental health and things like that. I think it would definitely, kind of hit for her as well.
Yeah.
Dan said, I love the little bit of Big Barda and Scot-free bondage action. Yeah. A couple of sex scenes kind of throughout the book. John mentioned before, after reading this, I always wanted a veggie platter. Yeah. And he said that when Darkseid is eating it, that's an iconic moment. It is. Yeah, that's right. I forgot he also takes a bite of a carrot at one point throughout some of that. Dan says, spoiler upcoming 4 quarters. Yeah. Sarah and Barda, make it happen. There you go.
Only if Dan does it first. He said he was going to.
Oh, there you go.
Come on, Dan. Oh yeah, there's that panel of Darkseid. Eating the carrot.
He doesn't say anything on this.
Look at him. Yeah, look at the bottom. He's just like crunching on it. He's like, this sucks. I don't want a carrot, man.
So good. I wanted to highlight another scene here that I just thought was like so typical and maybe reminded me of myself a little bit. Even was the way Scott acts here during this shower scene in particular. This is closer to the beginning where he can't get the shower to work. And he says, like, how does this shower work? She's like, why would I know? He's like, there's no knobs or is there water? She goes, ask your mother box. And he says, honey, I'm naked. My mother box is by the bed. Can you just ask yours? And she's like, mother box, can you turn on the shower, please? And like the whole thing goes, and she's like, the mother box says it's already on according to my calculations. She's like, it says it's on already, and he's like, it is. Am I clean? And he's like, still like filthy like the whole time. That whole like 2-page thing was so good. And like at the end, she goes to get in the shower, and she goes, did you leave the shower on? He goes, I don't know. I didn't even turn it off. If that helps. Like, it's so like some of that, like it's like realistic. It's humorous in this moment, but at the same time, it's just like, there's a lot of feelings going on. I mean, she's clearly not happy in these moments. She's a little frustrated. They just got back from battle and all this other stuff. Anyways, I thought it was like a cute kind of funny scene, at least in that moment.
Yeah.
The carrot Darkseid one, not the nudity one. He said I want that page of the poster. Yeah. He says, but I like both. Yeah, no, definitely both. What other did you guys have any other moments that like you like really loved or something that really hit you throughout this book?
Yeah, that scene where they're on the beach. That one. I had to like reread that a couple times. Yeah. And like when they like went deep like into Cart and like Cant and like their perspectives on things. And I feel like they needed to like place that in there just to kind of give the reader like some type of pathway, right? To make a decision on like which viewpoint you were going to take about the story.
Right.
And like the Cart is like the doubt, and like how Scott is like questioning like all the reality, and then Cant's like perception is like what shapes reality. And so like I thought that was kind of cool that King placed that in there, because you do need some guidelines. It's like you almost need like a swim lane, and like you got to pick, like what Cait said earlier, it's like a fork in the road, and you got to pick like your perspective and go. So I feel like he set up the reader to kind of think a little bit more about that before the story starts to progress.
Agreed.
Agree.
By the way, here's the shower scene that I was talking about, just for anybody who like had, when he broke down, when he was like, you know, very emotional moment there. That actually, I think this was all issue, whatever the second to last, whatever this issue was, the one with this cover on the front, the Dark Side one. There were several scenes in this that I really love. Like we talked about the Boom Tube picking him up, and it was like Uber, that was in here. The shower scene's in here. This scene where they're getting ready to do the cake, and he's ordering the Batman cake, and the lady's like, she's like, when do you need it by? And he's like, I'm not sure. His mother wants to do it on his birthday, but his birthday isn't until Sunday, and there's this work thing on Saturday where we might have to go away for this work thing. And so he's like trying to explain it without like, you know, giving too much detail of the idea that Darkseid wants his child. And she's like, okay. And he's like, so maybe we should make it sooner than his birthday on his birthday's on a Sunday. He just keeps like talking. She's like, so like Friday noon, and he's like, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all that casualness, you know, and that's what I loved about it too. It's like he fits those things in so perfectly to kind of almost like give you a break or something, you know, because you're just damn, like this is so hard to get through right now. Like I'm feeling this, and then it's like the monotony of like everyday life. It's like, let's just put that in there. Let's give the reader a break, you know?
Yeah. That's what I loved about it, was just like I say this all the time about X-Men, and why I like the X-Men so much is when they're showing scenes of the X-Men casually living life and doing other things, whether they're out shopping at the mall or playing baseball. There's tons of issues where I just love the issue because there's baseball scenes where the team is like, you know, using their powers. You have Colossus like turning, you know, into his powers and sliding into Wolverine and home plate and all stuff. But it's all like non-superhero stuff, and this very much is similar, obviously way even more so because of how relatable it is for the human feelings and everything else. So I just loved all that casualness that they took the time to do and to give us. And you know, Tom, I think Tom's style of writing in general is very much like that. He's always trying to I guess just make it relatable, right? I mean, it's not just about saving the world every comic book that we read or whatever. And I think that this does a really good job of that. Even the other, this is the same issue. Again, I think this was probably my favorite issue, but the other one was where he's
Costco like membership.
When he's checking out, and he has a full on conversation with the guy, and he's like, he goes there, he explains the memberships, you know, what they can do. He goes, there's this war I'm losing. Billions are going to die, and I can't stop it. Or he says, I can stop it, even like win it, really, but I have to surrender my only son. And he's just like, the guy is just scanning the he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should do this or that. He's like, yeah, that's tough. Damn.
Like car insurance, like asking like, oh, do you think I should go with this one?
Yeah, right. It's like this big, you know, life death thing, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, that's tough."
I love that part too, man. It's just that piece of it. It's like it's hilarious, one, and then it's like you take a step back from it too. You're like, man, this is like everyday life. It's like someone could be having like a horrible day, and you're like showing up, and you're like, damn it, like I forgot my Costco card. Now I got to go to like the customer service desk. And they're just treating it like it's very transactional, which, you know, it has to be sometimes, but you just never know what is going on with somebody. And I think he like nailed that with that scene too.
Yep. That's a great point. Yeah. You just don't know what people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I really appreciated is like, I feel like King is very intentional with each piece within the story. Like there's a scene where Funky's been going on and on and on about how smart Jacob is and how he's creating these stories even though he can't speak, and bringing this light into the world. And then you flip the page and we have Scott back at war, and that's when they kill, like, was it like a demon's baby? And you can see on his face, like, no, like, that's someone's child, and like really reflecting on that. And again, that goes from like one page to the next. Like, does life have meaning? And you see him really question that coming out of that. And just like really devastating violence without it being, I would say, like really gory or like really brutal. Like, obviously there are scenes where like Barda's beating the crap out of someone, you know, and their like skull goes flying. But in general, like, war is like, these are the pits where we're gonna put the bodies, and these are like the decisions that we're making, that just really lean into, again, trauma, trauma, trauma.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah, that how quickly that scene goes from one to the next too, especially. You kind of get that throughout.
Yeah, do you guys feel like the mother box was like an iPhone? Like, I feel like they like put that in there purposely. It's like they're just like scrolling on it, like hanging out, or he's using it like, ask your mother box how you turn on the damn shower. You know, let me chat GPT this, or you know,
it's true. Yeah, it's like AI or Google or something.
Scott's like laying on the couch talking about like, I don't know if I can go on, and Barda's just like, I can order pizza. I can be here in like 20 minutes, you know, like. And he's like, do we just like bring in the 5th unit and know they're all gonna die? Wait, what was on next? Like on the TV?
So good. Dan said, Justin, you should have invited King to join here. He is gracious and funny. I agree. That would be really cool. Never really. I mean, I've tagged him in some posts. He did reshare a few days ago some of the stuff that I put up. I know he's active, and I've met him before. He is a great guy. I feel like I see him every year, at least at one of the Comic Cons that I go to. But it'd be cool to have him on at some point. Just to kind of talk through this stuff. He's a funny guy. Let's see. We got Cliff Baker in the chat. What's going on? Cliff says,
how's it going?
What else? I mean, I guess like I'm trying to think of. I mean, I know like I brought up the first half, right, of the book was basically, you know, him battling Orion, essentially not battling, but like having to put up and deal with Orion and the laws and everything else. So at the end of that first 6 issues, Orion is found dead you know, Scott was essentially supposed to die that day on that 6th issue. Him and Barda are like, nope, we're gonna go confront Orion right now about all that. That was a fun issue too, because they're battling all the entire issue, and they're just like, I want like a different size kitchen, or they're talking about the condo and like all this other stuff, and like,
what should we do?
So, and literally every single page was just conversation about that. Like, it was not anything about, you know, anything relevant to the bad guys that they were kind of fighting. Oh yeah, and I love the
like laser beams
and explosions and people getting zapped and killed. So that was all the first half, and then going into the second half is like, it really is like, you know, 7, 8, 9 months later, as she had revealed in that issue, she's pregnant. She goes and has the baby scene. You get the Furies, those other
God, I loved meeting
girls
them.
that were there, the women that were there, and then it goes into, obviously, you know, much more where he ends up taking charge as the High Father, and you see a side of him, especially when he's doing the negotiations. I loved those scenes with Darkseid's like right-hand guy or whatever, and just like he just was like not a pushover in any way while they were trying to make these deals and whatever. And he's just like, listen, he's like, I was born, I grew up in the X pit. I was what's her name, Granny raised or whatever. Like, you know, I'm not some newbie. You can't just like roll me over like this. This is like, you know, this is what I'm fighting for. You can't take advantage of me in this regard. So I liked seeing those sides of him, because we didn't really see that you know, kind of dominant, confident side of him until the second half of the book.
Barda was kind of dragging him through most of the book up until that point, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I think that's why it took me by surprise when I saw him, you know, the shower scene and him kind of breaking down, because we were so far into the book at that point, and I felt like we were getting the dark side is less and less, but yeah, then we got hit with that scene again. But yeah, it's basically the whole baby thing. I'm trying to like throw this quick recap through, but basically, yeah, the Darkseid agrees, hey, I'll remove my armies and, stop attacking and all this other stuff if you just give me your son. And then they come up with the idea to kind of basically attack him and pretend that they're going to give the son and then attack. And of course, Bart is like, we're not giving him up. Like, that's not, we're not doing that. And he's like thinking, and she's like pissed at him because she's like, how could you even be thinking? Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing anything. But of course, he had a plan. He's trying to think of like ways to like fake it out or whatever. And it works. They end up doing it. I do love the guy in the hoodie. When he first shows up, he's like, yeah, we got our son here, like Darkseid, we're giving to you. And the guy's just like, they're lying. Yeah, lying. They're here to kill you. Like, he just reveals all these things. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna come in and kill Darkseid after hundreds of years. And he's like, sarcasm. It's so good. Like, anyways, just as like a recap. But yeah, like, what else? Anything else that you guys want to like? I guess kind of highlight in some of these pages.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking too. I was trying to like. It's like did you guys have I had a hard time. I don't know if it was like that's the right word, but it was a difficult read, and not in the sense of like, I guess like understanding some things.
Yeah,
it was more of just it was like, man, I don't know if I want to turn the page right now because he's in such a bad spot, and you start making those like relations to you, right? It's just like, oh man, I've been there. I've been in that like pit before, and you're curious about what's going to happen next. But it was like a little bit difficult to get through. I could see how like some people be like, man, I don't even want to read this, right? There could be like that perspective of it too, because it gets so heavy and deep. But I found it difficult sometimes to want to turn the next page. It was so damn good that you want to, but you're like, oh yeah. Man.
No, I would even sometimes be like, all right, I'm going to read like 4 issues tonight, or, I want to kind of get through here. And then I think it was around issue 8 or 9. I was supposed to like read another 1 or another 2. And I was like, nope, that was enough for me today. I need to just like process what they did and then go do something a little bit more lighthearted because like I think that was around when they were trying to decide, do we give up Jacob, and they had their giant fight, and I was like, between these two, nope, I need a moment where they're not choosing, do we kind of give our son the same path that we had that we still can't get out of?
Yeah.
And that's really what they're deciding, not just giving him up, but putting him in the pit,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a tough part. That's the one that hit for me, Cait, too, because of just being a dad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could apply that to so many different situations where you're watching your children grow up and you know that you have to let them like learn from experience or make a hard decision. And so like that like hit me pretty hard too, because I'm like, dude, like, what are you going to do? How would you ever send like your child to hell, or like do something like that to Apocalypse?
Yep.
But there's some things that you have to like expose them to. So like the dad part for me, like really kind of hit with those. So that was a good example on your end.
So I had read this whole thing in one shot when I read it through the first time, and there were definitely moments where I was like, all right, maybe I should stop here. But I wanted to like see how it like once when I read through the first 6 issues, because I feel like that was like a lot, set up and just kind of going through this whole one side of the story. And then once I got into like issue 7 or 8, with the baby, having the baby, and then everything else that kind of followed, I couldn't not find out. I had to like know how this whole thing like ended, and especially like again the negotiation issue and really coming up to running into Darkseid and all that stuff. Like it was just kind of page after page. I don't know if I could have really like gone month to month with this. And I wanted to highlight, I saw my man Damien here in the chat, Sleepy Reader. Good to see him, man. He says, loved the series month by month till the final issue, which I hated. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious, Damien, why you hated the last issue. I mean, I know it's it's certainly left open in that regard. And I mean, there's a lot that's kind of, I guess, happening. I had, yeah, for sure. Like I reread that a couple times too, and I was trying to think. Again, I mean, we kind of touched on this in the beginning of the discussion, but like wondering what was real, what was not. He sees his friend, what's the guy's name, Oberon, as like a ghost again. So he's like, I'm like, okay, so he's like talking to the ghost, but he's having a real, I mean, he's like, you know, tearing, and it seemed very emotional. He got what else was it? Oh, the High Father. He sees his father as like a ghost as well, who he decks, by the way. He punches him in the face. You know, at the end of that, I don't know. There were definitely a lot of mixed, you know, kind of feelings throughout all this stuff. And then him getting offered to like go that other world and everything else, and he doesn't go to it. Like, so I'm curious, yeah, kind of Damien, from your perspective, but for you guys, like, yeah, like, were you satisfied with how this ended, or like, did you want something more out of it, or did you hate it?
Yeah, it's funny because it's like it kind of end for me. I kind of like the last issue and how it ends, so you can make the decision.
Right.
But at the same time, like selfishly, I'm like, write more, like do another one, man. I want to see what happens.
Part
like
2, let's go.
Give me a part 2, man. Like I want to continue it. Like I'm going to read it again, of course, but it's just give me more. You know, give me more.
I think I would not be upset if there was more, but there was something nice about like, okay, whew, like this journey at least is over. I can kind of take it in a lighter route if I choose to, because again, sometimes I was just sitting there like, I'm gonna flip this page and something not better is gonna happen. Like, so I think to an extent it was like, okay, I enjoy the story a lot, and I'm glad that they're done going through all of that.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, like it's just like this like revelation that that's where I feel like he's come to peace in a sense, as he's gotten over these humps over the last 11 issues. So I agree, like, yeah, like I said, I think again from the beginning, like I think he's alive through this, and he just he comes to peace with a lot of who, realizing who's in his life, and what he has, and kind of just finding that purpose. Dave, you had pointed it out in the beginning, like he's like kind of lost in a sense. He's like not, again, especially compared to some of these other superhero friends that he has, and kind of their purposes. And I just feel like he's kind of found himself a bit more in a lot of this, even though a lot of crazy stuff did happen, including like Orion dying, and I mean, a lot of people dying, I guess, overall.
It's like choosing to stay, it's like, I think that whole like theme of it's like, choose to stay a dad, choose to stay, a good husband, like choose to kind of fight through it, get up, stand up and do that. And I thought that was like a really cool, like key theme there, like at the end, to kind of like lift people up too, which was really nice.
I agree. That was like the one time we really get to see Barda like actually lash out was at another point where he was just like, why go on? Everything is horrible. And she was like, you do realize that when you're saying that, like, I'm a part of your life and a center to that. So when you're saying everything is horrible, does that include your family? Like, is that not enough to keep pushing you? So I agree. Like, it's nice that he can choose to step into that and choose that life for himself.
Yep. Yeah, well said. My man Noah Broke Boy Comics in the chat. What's going on? And I missed this earlier. Dan said, "Yeah, we when we do our free run show, dude, I'm down, man. Let's do it. I'm down. We definitely want to talk some free run soon." I can't believe we're over an hour already. I totally didn't realize. I was like, I feel we just started. I feel like we just like got started here. Is there? I guess. I mean, we covered a lot of like, I know we jumped around here for the folks watching. We didn't really have like a set schedule on things, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to highlight here, or recap, or point out, or anything that I'm forgetting that you just wanted to mention before I guess we kind of wrap this up?
Yeah, Dan said something in the comments earlier. Yeah. I don't. I'll have to scroll up and find it, but he said like, shout out to the Bardas out there in the world.
I think
it's like, yes, that 100%, right? And I think it's like, we being in this community too, it's like you can almost like tell when something's off with somebody, maybe they're not like posting or like answering a chat or something. It just gives you an opportunity to reach out and just see how people are doing too. I think that's really important, because the community is like a big part of everyone's life. It is for me, and it's like a big sense of joy and kindness. And I think, you know, Cait, you guys say that on the Comic Underground, you know, it's like a positive community for people. And you can see when people come together to really support one another, if there's like a tragedy or a fundraiser or something. And so that's what I got out of it too. It's like, just keep that in mind, you know, as well. It's like when you're part of this and you make these friendships, it's like, don't forget to be a Barda and like reach out and check on people, you know, and see how they're doing too.
I love that, Dave. Yep. 100%. Is there, I guess as we're kind of wrapping this up, as like a final thoughts, I'm curious, like how you guys would like kind of grade this on like a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being, you know, amazing. You know, how would you grade it? And any final thoughts to this? Cait, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, for me, I think the thing that I really wrote down over and over is like, is Scott escaping? And I think towards the end, I switched it to like, is he actually coming into himself? Like learning that he doesn't even know his own name. He doesn't have a sense of identity. He takes on, you know, this costume also and the name of Mr. Mircale from someone else, and is just constantly performing, whether he's, you know, being an escape artist or going to war. And so I just really enjoyed kind of sitting with that question about like who you are and how you come to be who you are, and how you, again, through how I'm interpreting this story, choosing to be able to take that into your own hands, was just something that I really enjoyed. And I would say for this, I would probably give it like A- for everything. I think Gerad's art just uplifted everything within the storytelling.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the emotional like capacity of the story, and then the actual sort of timeline of it. And for me, having not read any Fourth World or anything like that, like it just really opens up a lot. As everybody in the chat has said, now I gotta go read more big Barda. So, you know, for me, it was just a really, really enjoyable experience, and I can't wait to read it again.
Nice. Love to hear that. Dave, what about you? What are your final thoughts? And how would you kind of grade this on a scale?
Yeah. Well said. I can't top what Cait said, because I think she kind of summarized how I kind of felt like the book too. Perfect 10, man. I really liked it. I think the one piece I kept forgetting was like to go back to was like the art and like how it's stylized. You know? Yeah. And I think the one piece that I really liked was like those static boxes that you would get in the panel sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like those pieces too, because you can kind of interpret it in a couple different ways. But I felt like it was like that dark side is like kind of creeping in when he's kind of at a conflicting point in like the story. So the art was like so much fun to kind of go through and see. But I think like at the end of the day, I think it's almost like a good reference book. You know, maybe if you're like not feeling great, it's like to go back and take this as like a reference book to be like, look what Scott Free went through, right? And kind of see like the people in his lives that kind of keep him grounded. And so I just think it just hits home for so many different reasons for different people, and you can take it through a different lens. Of course, I took it through the like dad and husband lens, which I thought was great. So it really resonated with me. So like it's an A for me. It's like a solid 9. I gotta say, like it was just fantastic. And now I'm like bummed because I'm like, what am I supposed to read next? Kind of like,
I know,
you know. So I don't know. You guys gotta tell me. So
I feel the same way, man. I'm like I want to like I could talk about this book. I feel like forever, and literally go, you know, panel to panel on everything, because there's just so much here. It's just so great. I think you both nailed it. Well said. I think this is definitely high for me as well. I would give this a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I would definitely recommend it to others. I think one of the, again, okay, as you pointed out, like I love the fact that anybody could just jump into this book and not need to know anything prior. You don't need to like, you know, read a whole, you know, series or anything like that to know anything. It does a good job of just kind of taking you through what is important at the time, and then just here's where you're at in the story, and let me show you this other side scot-free is what Tom is kind of doing. And as you guys said, it's not just your typical superhero book. It's much more relatable and Dave, as you pointed out, from different angles of this that people can take through, and also just a really good reminder, as you guys pointed out before too, just like you don't know who's going through what, and you never do. You just don't know, current situations or dealing with past history, things of that nature, or whatever is going on in the world. So it's like just being mindful of that, being kind to others, and yeah, checking on them, when you think something might be up, or and even if everything is fine. I mean, I think it's just good to check in on your friends and people that you're used to talking to. I love these characters. I want to know more about these characters. Even Funky Flashman, and just kind of go through more of this stuff. I do want to go back to the Kirby stuff and get more of that, the OG story and background. So this definitely is, just inspires me to kind of want to jump into some other stuff from these character standpoint. And then on the flip side, we got to read some more Tom King. I think is clearly,
always
the set. Yeah. And I don't know. I know we talked about maybe doing something else, and maybe we can, talk offline and figure out what we want to kind of do from there. But I would totally be down to do kind of another breakdown of some sort, Tom King related or not, or Gerad, we go to some of Gerad's or whatever we want to do. I'd be open for it. But yeah, the Tom King stuff definitely hits. I saw a couple things in the chat I wanted to highlight too. Noah said, with this being my first New Gods story I've ever read, and I have found a new love for Mr. Mirror. Yeah, exactly. Same. We're all right there with you. Of course, Scott Summers should change his name to Scott Free. It is a miracle how many relationships in the X-Men universe he has escaped from. Shots fired. Shots fired. Dan says, I'm always posting reading Rex. Yeah, happy to help. Yep, for sure. 3 of the most positive members in our community. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks to everybody hanging out in the chat, and anybody watching this later on the replay. I've had a few people reach out saying they couldn't necessarily catch the live stream, but they wanted to hear our thoughts and check it out. So we appreciate everybody taking the time to kind of hang out. Of course, is Walt Simonson wrote and drew Orion, brilliant 4th World Series. Okay, yeah, good to know. I mean, I love Walt, so that's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, seems like a whole nother world now. I gotta kind of let's explore here. I gotta get like a time machine or duplication machine or something so I can, or I just quit my job. I don't know, one of these things just to carve out more time to read a bit more, because there's a lot on the stack right now. But
I think someone mentioned they're going to be doing a World's Finest for
nice
Mr. Mircale, so something to look forward to.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, very cool. Well, anything that you guys want to highlight, I guess, before we're getting out of here? Cait, I know you have a lot going on. Anything you want to shout out or let the people know about?
Yeah, I'll hopefully be on YouTube a little bit more going forward. Had a little break at the end of the year there. And then if anybody's interested in sort of reading Rex, comic book chats, or live sales, I work with an awesome crew on the Comic Underground, so hit us up for anything.
Absolutely. Awesome. Dave, what about you? Anything you want to highlight or anything you got coming up?
Not really. Besides keeping my microphone on mute because I have 4 children running down the house right now. It's like, hey, could you keep the kids down? We'll be on this thing for a little bit, and they're going nuts. You get them like 20 minutes. No, nothing too crazy. It's funny. Me and my buddy John, he's from Shrews Clues Comics. We've had created a pretty cool friendship, and we floated the idea about starting a podcast or doing something, but it is just so hard. Like I commend you guys for finding the time to do it because it's so valuable and I love it. Yeah. So we're trying to lift something off the ground, but we'll see if it works. Yeah, but other than that, it's just posting fun books and trying to keep my wallet full, which is impossible on these live claim shows. Cait, I'm gonna blame you.
I do it to myself.
It's brutal. Yeah, but it's so just enjoying it and having fun, keeping the family involved, and trying to do some more reading too. So
love it. Yeah, love that you got the kids diving into these books too, man. I
literally your post brings so many smiles.
Yes, yeah, it really, man, it's what it's all about. And I love. I mean, look, like this comic medium the only way it's gonna like keep going is passing it down to the younger generations. And I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews who I plan to try to keep them in the loop with things, and anybody else who has kids that I'm friends with, I'll try to pass things along. But I love what you're doing, just getting the younger generations going. So definitely keep that going, and let us know if you start something, man, because I'm there. I'm there to support.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'd love to do it. It's time. Got to find the time to do it, but it's so much fun. So
yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, I've been a little on a hiatus, I guess you can call it, over the last few months. I blame football for that for the most part. It's the one hobby that's probably a little higher in my rankings compared to comics, but I love it all anyways. Football is pretty much over now, so I'm starting to come back around with time, and hopefully be able to do more shows like this again the way I used to, and also just put out some more fun content. I've had a lot of fun over on Instagram, and just hanging out and meeting new people, and obviously hanging out and getting to know you guys. So yeah, definitely doing some more reading this year, and we'll have to plan something because there's a lot of good stuff out there, and this was a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys both just doing this with me, and down for anything else that kind of comes along, or if any ideas or suggestions you guys have, definitely keep it going. I see I have Comic Issues just jumped in. Hello. We're just wrapping things up, but thanks for popping by. Gore says kids equals boarding school equals more reading time. Let me write this down. Hold on, Gore. But yeah, so for now we'll wrap it up. But appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure that you are following these two. Definitely hit them up or subscribe or follow them on Instagram. And other than that, I'll be back Tuesday for Omni X-Men, and we'll kind of go from there. But hope everybody's well. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you haven't already. Smash the like button as well. Always appreciate that. But until next time, we will talk to you later.